Hey watchers, it's your girl Big Ish. Welcome back to Black People Watch. Thank you for watching my channel. Happy Turkey Day, everybody. I hope you have a safe and happy holiday. This week I'm reviewing Hillbilly Elegy, and as you know, or you may not know, it's getting hammered. The Rotten Tomatoes aren't happy, and a lot of other people, but let's get into it. Let's see how us average folks, view this. So the plot is a Yale Law student draws back to his hometown, grapples with family history and the Appalachian values of the American dream. So, listen. Okay, so the film is based on the best-selling book by J.D. Vance, Hillbilly Elegy. It's his memoirs. It's about his life. And he's just getting hammered for it. It's written by Vanessa Taylor. She is a fairly new and inexperienced writer. It's directed by Ron Howard, the great Ron Howard, and it stars Amy Adams as Bev, Glenn Close as Mamaw, Gabrielle Basso as J.D. Vance, Haley Bennett as Lindsay, Frida Pinto as Usha, and Bo Hopkins as Peepaw. Owen Astasos plays young J.D. Vance. So let's start with the positive things first. The young J.D. Vance and the older J.D. Vance look like they could be the same person. They also look like they could be related to Amy Adams' character, who is Bev. Glenn Close, the incomparable Glenn Close, plays Mamaw, and she is just amazing. At the end of the movie, they show pictures of his Mamaw and their life, and oh my gosh, Glenn Close just completely nails the character. This is getting hammered for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is that there are three main characters in this film, which is Bev, who is Owen's mom, Mamaw, and J.D. Vance. The film doesn't know who the main character is, and I think that's what has people a little up in arms about, what's going on here. Also, there are flashbacks to the 90s when JD was a young kid, and the flashbacks are good, but they seem a little choppy and all over the place. His mom, Bev, became addicted to opioids. She was very smart and educated and got her nursing license and ended up losing everything because she became addicted to opioids. The film kind of is all over the place. It doesn't know if it wants to focus on the opioid addiction thing. I thought Bev had some kind of mental illness, honestly, because she breaks out a lot and spazzes out and has breakdowns and fights JD and is just an abusive mom at times. And they do try and show the human side of her. They do try and show that she is warm at times and caring, but most of the time during the film she comes off as psycho. Psycho mom. And I mean, we've all experienced those moments, but Bev is over the top. They do have a flashback showing that she had experienced some abuse herself or witnessing some abuse. I thought the flashbacks at a certain point were lazy storytelling, because it's just like, okay, if you want to get out what happened to Bev, let the story be about Bev and focus on her life. I really feel that the movie could have been a series because so many main characters that they could have built upon. Bev is really like the main character through the first act and almost all of the second act, and then Mamaw comes in, and then we're focusing on Glenn Close's character, Mamaw. And then we don't know what's going on with JD. Like, is the movie really about him, or is he telling Mamaw's story? I really believe, as the movie wrapped, that the story was supposed to be about Mamaw, but it didn't feel that way. And so I think that's what has people a little bit up in arms. It's like, this had the makings of a great movie, and of course it's Oscar season and they're wanting these films to be nominated, and I think Glenn Close may get a nomination. Of course, she's a great actress, and there is a point in the movie where JD gets his act together and he gets a good test, and he brings it home to Mama and wants to show Mama because he's really proud. And he says, Mama, look at it. I got the highest test in the class. Like, I got the best test. And Mama looks at it. And she says, well, you keep that up, you know? And then she goes and sits down, but she still has the test in her hand. And he's looking at her like through the window, and she's looking at it, and she's just like, you know, she's smiling. And she's really proud of him. And I had a grandmother who was similar. She wasn't warm and fuzzy. You know, her, you know, in the culture that we have today, we're always pacifying kids and, good job. Yeah, you did it. Ooh, yes. You know, you can do it. You're great. And, you know, tough old birds, they didn't do that. You know, if you did good, they were like, you know, and that was their attaboy. That was their good job. You know, but they're going to shake their head. Yeah. Good job. Keep that up. You know, you know, we got work to do. I can't be warm and fuzzy. And he needed that, I think. You know, he may needed some hugs. He may needed some love, of course. Mima was not that kind of person. And she only could give him what she had. But what she gave him was enough for him to see that he did not want to continue the cycle of abuse. He did not want to continue to be poor, and he wanted a better life for himself. And Mama did too. Mama took him eventually from his mom because Bev was crazy. Like, Bev was really loopy. She was very impulsive. She was a drug addict, you know. Here's what I will say again about the movie. It showed that, you know, I'm from the hood, and it showed that poor Black communities and poor white communities are very similar. And that I did learn that from this film. I felt like some of the things that JD witnessed, I witnessed, not maybe in my own family because, you know, my family wasn't like that, but I did witness it in my surrounding area. And there was a point where, you know, Bev was whipping up on JD and the police came and, you know, they were talking to JD like, you know, we can help your mom, but, you know, you need to press charges on her. You need to tell us what really happened. Did your mom hit you? And the cop goes on to say, I know you may think this is normal. This is not normal. This is not how people are supposed to live. And when you're raised in that environment, you think that that kind of thing is normal. And until you get older and you realize that it's not, and that you don't want to continue that kind of abuse. So you would think that poor whites and and these people are like Trump supporters in the Appalachian Mountains of Ohio, the most southern point of Ohio. And you would really think that we have more in common, or that we wouldn't be so separated by, you know, just color, because the experiences are the same. So, you know, there was that, and that was really good. I really enjoyed seeing that portion of it. And that, you know, JD wasn't born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He came from an area where most of the people were negative. They hang out, drink, sit on the porch, you know, not really doing much with their lives. And, you know, he brought himself out of that. So I thought that that was very interesting to see. I didn't know that, of course, that there are white people who experience poverty and who, you know, are disenfranchised like us. But I've never really seen it, you know, that up and close and personal. So listen, for the average Joe, you know, I'm gonna give it 6 remotes out of 10. I thought that it had the ability to be something great. I think they missed the mark with trying to tell too many stories in one. I think the flashbacks were very rushed and hokey. I do, however, think it was a good story. It did have the potential to be good. So I'm going to say, listen, watch it. It was an experience. People were talking about, they were laughing when JD was getting his butt kicked by his mom. I think that's ridiculous and immature. This was this man's life. He actually lived this. He actually was beat up by his mother several times. She would lose her mind and just go off on him. And it really affected him. He was traumatized. He was abused. So, you know, none of this to me was funny. It was people talking about they were laughing at it. I just thought that that was ridiculous. It was people who, you know, I heard say that they didn't believe that, you know, white people could live like this. And of course, he wasn't saying that everybody in his community was bad, but he did say the people that were in his immediate circle were not good for him. And I don't see how that's funny. I don't see how that's funny at all. And it's his life and it's his experiences. And, I think you should watch it. I definitely enjoyed it. It is a tearjerker at moments. I did not cry, and I'm very sensitive, but I did, get verklempt. Is that how you say it? Verklempt. And I did moisten in the wells of my eyes here. They did they did moisten up, but nothing actually dropped. So it's not that, heart-wrenching or, it tries to go there, but it doesn't all the way evoke those emotions in you. I want to know what y'all think. Are you an average Joe like me? Did you think it was just, it was good, or do you think that it sucked like everybody else? All the critics that are telling you and telling us that it was just a whole hot mess. And some even say it was the worst movie of the year, y'all. Like, y'all going in. Like, this is this man's life. I don't think it's so much of the story as opposed to the direction, the editing, and the script. And I'm going to just leave it there. I'm not going to leave it to the story because the book is a #1 seller. So the book must be awesome. I haven't read it. But I'm going to leave it to the editing and the flashbacks, the direction, and how rushed it felt, the all over the place storyline, and the script. So I do suggest that you watch it, though. I think it's an interesting film. I think it's interesting. And I think that, while you curl up and have your extra heaping helping of stuffing and mashed potatoes and taters, and you can sit and talk like them all day. And I think it was very, very cool to, just see and witness. So, let me know what you think. Again, drink responsibly, right? Don't be out here drinking and driving, wear your mask, social distance, and enjoy your holiday. I thank you all for watching. I love you so much. Peace and blessings. Bye.